Hey everybody, byscreenside here, and today I am bringing you a little something different in terms of a build video. This is a build that I did ages ago, and it is actually like my most downloaded lot on the gallery. It's called Tranquil Modern, and even though I've built some things since that I think are like a lot better, it's still my most downloaded lot. And so I thought maybe it would be a fun time to remodel it. I think part of the reason that it's more downloaded is because when I built this was before Perfect Patio stuff even came out. So I think the only packs that we had at that time were, of course, the base game, and then we had Luxury Party, and we had Get to Work, and I think that might be it. Oh, Outdoor Retreat. That's the other thing. So it's built with those four packs, and so that might be part of the reason that it's more popular because I know not everybody has all the packs in their game. But I thought, what the hey, I'll update it, and since it's so downloaded, I thought maybe some more options would be cool. So anyway, that was why I decided just to remodel it, and I thought a remodel project would be fun as a little bit of something different to do. So I thought I'd work on this, and I've not like brought this up or like boasted about it on the channel or anything, but this is actually one of the builds that went into like the reason I built it was because from James from the Sim Supply had asked for lots when Newcrest came out for his Rags to Riches Let's Play with Lady Big Wallet. You might be familiar with it. And he did like pick this as one of the lots that went into Newcrest. I don't think, and he actually picked another couple lots that I built for that Let's Play. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't brag about it a lot, but I was really excited. That was kind of he was the first YouTuber I saw doing builds in The Sims and totally, inspired me to do it. So that was, I don't know, I was pretty excited when that happened. So, but anyway, yeah, so I've remodeled this with a lot of the packs and with a lot of I don't know. Some of it I kept the same because I really did kind of want to keep the personality, but I just wanted to add in more and do more with it because there was a lot of like blank space in it and stuff that I wouldn't do now just because I've had so much more practice and everything. So it does have kind of a wonky layout because just of the shape of the exterior. I'm the kind of builder that like I build from the exterior inward. So I build the exterior in a way that looks good and then I just make the interior work with it. That's like the best way I know how to do it because I know like some people build inside out. In fact, I just did a collaboration with Sims with May, and she mentioned in her videos that she like builds the exterior with the interior in mind, but I can't do that. Like I find the exterior to be more difficult, so I have to work from the outside in rather than vice versa. So at the end of this, you'll see like before and after screenshots of all the rooms. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and then I do remodel it to be a 3 bedroom, 3 bath. So there's a really cool kids room. I didn't actually change that much because I thought there were some like pretty creative ideas in the original one. But you'll see this is just more sort of me like rearranging and redecorating and using a lot of new items, and especially the foyer area was completely empty, so I just kind of like redid that. And then some of the exterior shape of the build was a little bit, I mean, like asymmetry isn't necessarily a bad thing in an exterior, but I just didn't feel like it was a good asymmetry. So here I used this corner and decided to add in the third bathroom. So there's a bedroom that has an ensuite, and then there are two just sort of like family bathrooms in this build. And part of the reason I wanted to add a third bathroom in is because I actually have simmed in this house quite a bit because I moved a family into it, and that family, well, it's not technically a family. It's actually like two single girl sims, but each of those have become like single moms since. So they had a couple of kids running around in the build too. So I felt like expansion was needed anyway, just in case I ever decided to revisit that household. So they're one of my households in like my one of my rotation game saves that I haven't played on actually for quite a long time. But I keep it around because like it was a fun game that I did. And I don't know about you guys. Is that do you guys play that way? Do you like do a save file and then like because what I did was this was like a rotation of something like maybe like 20 plus households in that save file. So they were just one of the households that I did as a part of a big community. So it was more like I was telling, instead of like the story of a family, like rather like the story of a town. And so, I could micromanage their like relationships and their interconnectedness, and decide like who was going to wind up with who and blah, 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 like it was a really fun time. It was a really fun game. So yeah, that would be interesting to know from you guys. Is that like something that you do, or do you just play one household at a time? Like, do you, what are you into in terms of that? That'd be interesting to know. Okay, so it just started raining massively outside. So I apologize if you guys hear any like static sounds, rain, or claps of thunder. It's really loud. So if it gets picked up on the audio, I apologize, but that's what that is. Um, don't be scared. It's okay. um, I actually do like get a little bit nervous in thunderstorms. I didn't used to, and then one a while back, my dad was at work. He he worked as a railroad conductor, and there was one night where there's really bad thunderstorm, and it knocked out the power. And but not before like it came across on like the news or the radio or something that there had been a train wreck. And then I didn't have like a way to hear from him because when he's at work, he can't be reached at work. So I spent like this whole like horrible rainy stormy night like worried that he'd been in a wreck. And I was just like waiting to hear something, and like a tree fell on our street, and like I couldn't drive in or out anywhere. It was so ever since that night, I don't know, I get kind of like skeeved out by thunderstorms. He was fine, of course, but it was like a night that I was like so scared. Like, so ever since then, I don't know, I just get kind of like weirded out because it just reminds me of like a bad experience. But anyway, that was kind of off topic. Um, the family, okay, so a little bit more about the family who lived in this house, who I was thinking about sort of when I was rebuilding it. These two gals called Marley and Aspen. And Marley, her name's Marley Hendricks. She's a guitar player, and she's named after Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix. If you didn't pick up on that, and then Aspen was like sort of like a geeky gal, and Marley had a son with Don Lothario, and Aspen had a daughter with Bob Pancakes. Um, but she didn't wind up with Bob Pancakes. She didn't it didn't break up the marriage or anything. Like she actually wound up with last I left her, she was engaged to a sim, which I rarely download sims off the gallery, and even less so, I very rarely download like celebrity sims. But I had to downloaded, like, somebody did Glenn from The Walking Dead, and this was like last year too. So I I downloaded Glenn from The Walking Dead because I love Glenn, and actively avoiding spoilers for people who have not yet seen The Walking Dead. If you haven't, you should check it out because it's great. Um, but yeah, and Marley was still single though. Last I left her, she was just kind of like busy on her career. But yeah, I like enjoyed playing those two gals. They were a good time. Um, so here's something that uh, I just kind of like wanted to bring up and kind of rant about. Um, in November, I had like a cold for a couple of days. Like it wasn't like a really bad cold or anything, but I wound up getting like a chapped lip situation, and so because the weather's sort of like getting colder outside, my lips have been really chapped, and I haven't been able to like I've been trying several different like lip balms that I have and everything, and nothing seems to be unchapping my lips. I can't seem to fix the chap situation. And so I do this thing. It's every month, and I'm so sorry. Um, this conversation is about to get a little bit girly, but apologies. But I subscribe to this service. It's called Ipsy, IPSY, and it's like every month I get a what they call a quote unquote glam bag. And it's basically a bag full of like different cosmetic samples. So I get like hair stuff and skincare stuff and different makeup and everything. And at the beginning of the month, usually they'll send me like a message and I'll go be able to check and see like what's going to be in my bag for the month. Usually doesn't come until like around like the 15th or so of every month. And so I saw that there was going to be a lip balm in the bag, and I was really happy because I'm like, okay, something maybe this will help with my chapped lip situation. And I got the lip balm, and it commits a lip balm sin that I cannot overlook. I absolutely hate this. So many times, um, if like people put in their lip balms like peppermint oil. And like so if you've ever tried like soft lips, for example, they have like kind of like a cooling sensation because the peppermint oil, it has that thing that gives you, almost sort of like if you're not familiar with like pepperminty lip balm or the sensation I'm talking about, think about like vapor rub or something like that. So it gives you like a sort of like cool breezy tingle on your lips. But this really irritates me because it's cool. It's a cooling sensation, and anytime that I have chapped lips, it's because it's the winter time, and it's like the last scenario when I'm like outside and I'm freezing, when I want like my lips to feel even colder. like I'm already freezing. I don't need the additional like cooling sensation of the peppermint. I think it's just because it's like a fairly cheap ingredient. And like a lot of people like peppermint. I mean, not everybody likes peppermint. I'm not a huge peppermint fan. Like I will have it. Like I'll have a peppermint or a candy cane like every now and then, but if it's gum, like I'm going to buy like spearmint gum. Although I'm not much of a gum chewer, but if I'm going to get it, I'm going to get like I'm much more of a spearmint person than a peppermint person. But anyway, randomness, I love it. How are you guys doing today? Well, good, awesome. So I have another build completed that I'll be getting up soon, and I'm still working on Longleaf Estate. Um, I know that there are some that are waiting on the part two for that, and I apologize that I'm kind of taking my time with it because I want it to be really good. Um, I want it to kind of like live up to what I want from the because I thought the exterior was pretty awesome, so I wanted to make sure that the interior follows suit, and so I want to make it really detailed and just do the best that I can with it. It's proving to be a little bit challenging. Like I've been struggling with it just a bit because I don't really know what the reason I'm struggling with it. I think it's just because I have high expectations for it, and but I have some of it completed, and so there's some cool stuff going on with it. So I am working on it. This room that I'm working on is actually Marley's room, so you can tell I put in the guitar and like I went ahead and added the City Living keyboard because I thought that would be a new fun skill for her to pick up. Because this house just does not have room for a piano, so she doesn't have any piano skill currently. But yeah, so that's sort of we got like a musician's room, and Aspen's room has like the computer area in it. And I used a lot of the vintage glamour stuff pack to redo Aspen's room. So it makes a pretty cool vintage glamour room for her. But yeah. So I'm working on Longleaf Estate, and then I have another house build that I'm doing. And then after that, I would like to do a wedding venue. I have kind of, and I haven't talked about this on the channel yet that I can remember, but I have a wish for the content that I'd really love to see in The Sims 4 as like a game pack would be, I mean, apart from another vacation world, I really think that we're due a vacation world because anytime you do you decide to send your sim to Granite Falls, it's like you pull up a menu that says like vacation destinations, and then it's like one option. So I think it would be great to have another vacation world, more than one vacation world, obviously in the end. But I'd love to see like a obviously like a tropical paradise world would be the first thing that I would want because I mean, we do have some sort of beachy areas in Windenburg, but we don't have like a really like nice tropical beach world, and I want that. Also, I that rug that I had done in the original build, I copied it here because that was like one of the ideas that I thought was one of the better ones from my original build, so I thought I would just sort of copy it over again here. But yeah, I want more vacation worlds. So I'd like an island world. I'd love like a ski resort, like a sort of like a Colorado or like a European mountains ski resort with like avalanches or something. I don't know, but those are the kind of vacation worlds I'd like. I was trying to think about it last night, like what all vacation worlds I'd like to see in the future, and those were like the two that I could come up with. So tell me in the comments, like if you have like a idea for a vacation world other than like the ones that I mentioned. Like, is there something that I'm overlooking? I mean, I guess we could do like a theme park kind of world, like a Disney World kind of thing. That could be pretty cool. Or a cruise. Oh man, that would be really interesting to see how that could be done in The Sims 4. Because I took a cruise once with my family, and that was by far the most incredible vacation that I've ever taken. If you ever have the chance to go on a cruise, or if you've never been on a cruise, I highly, highly recommend that. It truly was insane how much like stuff there is to do. I mean, you can do. There's just not an I it was like a week long cruise, and it wasn't even possible to do like half of the things that I had the opportunity to do in like a week. So like I had all this time to do it, and yet still like there's just no way of doing it all. That's how much awesome, amazing things that there are to do. So that would be really cool if we could send our Sims on a cruise some way. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I want the pack that I want, my dream pack, other than like a new vacation world, is I want a wedding pack. I want, like, we have two wedding arches, right? And without a wedding arch, like you can do a wedding without a wedding arch, but it's kind of really difficult to get the Sims to stand exactly where you want them and to get the guests to gather around. Like, I understand that on the new update that guests will now choose to sit at weddings. I haven't had a wedding in the game since that update, so I don't know if that's working well or not. But I just feel like we have one wedding dress, basically. Like, we have some white versions of other dresses now that can be used as wedding dresses. But like they're not technically like wedding gowns. So I would like veils, and like I want the male Sims to have like tuxes with like a little corsage, different color corsages. I want, I don't know, I just want anything wedding related because when I played this town, when I did like a rotation of different Sims around different households and everything, I tried, like, one of the things that was kind of like a focus for me was to give each sim couple their own individual wedding. Oh, and another thing, being able to throw events on generic lots. Please, we need that because I would go as far as having to like temporarily move a household to a lot, because if you throw it at like a lounge or a museum or any other type of like public lot, like other Sims other than the ones on your guest list can show up. So having the ability to throw events on a generic lot would be like would super simplify being able to have a wedding, like not at a residence, like at the residence of the household, if that makes any sense the way I'm saying it. But like, you, unless you're going to throw it at your Sim's house, then you have to throw it at a community lot where basically Sims can come and go that aren't on the guest list. So I don't like that. I really want to be able to throw events on generic lots, and then I want more content that is wedding focused, because I would want to throw weddings for all my Sims, and I would want them to have, just like in reality, if you go to a wedding, it's going to be that personal couple, or that, everybody's going to have like a different style of like what they want in terms of their wedding. So I just that I really feel like that's content that is needed. Like that everybody, well, not everybody chooses to like have their Sims get married and do family play and all that kind of thing, but a lot of Simmers, like a vast amount of Simmers, are going to be able to use wedding content. So that's just my take on what I would really like to see in a game pack. Of course, there are rumors going around that we're going to be getting vampires. Um, so I don't know if you guys have like heard any of that, but so, well, apparently, um, it was somebody saw in the game files that we were going to be getting vampires soon. But I don't know, because I could have sworn that I saw in the forums like ages ago that like supernatural creatures were found in the game files like a really long time ago. Like that those creatures have always been in the game files. Like, so I don't really know that that necessarily signals that that's going to be a game pack that we're going to be getting anytime soon. Maybe I'm misremembering what I thought I read, but I could have sworn that I read somewhere ages ago that supernatural creatures were in the game files. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they've found like, and I don't want like, well, I don't even know if I want to say this because this is this is strictly me remembering off the top of my head without looking into it or anything. So please take this with 1,000% grain of salt. But I could have sworn like even like there like bits and pieces of the toddler life stage have been found in the game files. And obviously we are a long ways into the game and still don't have toddlers. So I really don't know if I think that having found like supernatural stuff in the game files means anything. I could be wrong though, and I could be wrong about the toddler thing. So yeah, like I said, please take it with a grain of salt. I'm just, you know, remembering this off the top of my head. So, like, there's just a lot of potential things that are in the game files that aren't necessarily things that are actually going to be in our game anytime soon, as far as I understand it. So, but I don't know. Hopefully, I feel like I'd be glad to have vampires, but there are lots of other things I'd be happier to have sooner, like seasons or pets or generations. So I would like prefer to have like toddlers or preteens or weather before I would get any of that stuff, like before getting vampires or mermaids or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion on it. Um, like I don't know how much use I would get out of that because I'm not a big fan of playing aliens really in The Sims 4 so far. I have a couple of alien characters, but I just don't feel like there's anything that particularly different or fun about them, but that's just my personal like play style and opinion. I'm happy that I know that there are a lot of people who do like aliens and do really creative things with aliens, so I'm happy that they're in the game. And I do kind of like the randomness of like the possibility of abductions. Although I've only ever one time had a male pregnancy from an abduction, and what was really weird about it is it happened in a game that I had no idea in the science career. In fact, I've mentioned like before that I've played like sim games where my sims are in like a world where there are no electronics. So that was this game. Like it was a story of like a where they were living in sort of like a fantasy world or something I don't know, it's like kind of long to explain it. I'll have to explain it in another video at some point because I'm getting ready to come up on the screenshots here. But yeah, the alien abduction happened in a world with like no electronics or anything remotely like sciency or techy or anything like that. So that was interesting. I put in the portrait of Bob Pancakes, of course, because I mentioned before he did father a child with one of the Sims that lived in the house in my game. So yeah. But anyway, get ready to come up on the screenshots here. I have before and afters of everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little renovation video. If you guys have any comments or feedback, feel free to leave those below, and I will go ahead and leave you with some music. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!